Here's a good one. This is one of my favourites. Oh, well, lots and lots of money if you go through a solicitor. No, some money if you... No, that's not true. I'll come back to the solicitors. I'm going to start with claims companies. It'll cost you, on average, 25% of the compensation that they win for you, which seems to be an industry standard. I wouldn't argue with 30 if you felt they were offering a particularly good service or you were impressed with them. I wouldn't argue with 20. Though you should be aware, though, that as far as claims companies are concerned, they make money by pushing through as many claims as they possibly can. I often think one of the best ways of telling whether the good claims company from the bad is to ask them, well, just how many claims are you running? You know, how many staff have you got? What's your sort of time frame of settlement? Because the truth is that they will be motivated to get claims through the factory, and they may be undercutting competitors by charging 20%, but they may not be doing such a good service for all their customers in terms of the length of time of a claim or perhaps the quantum of the claim, because there is a big issue in some of these cases about full compensation rather than partial compensation. I was talking to a barrister this afternoon and I likened it to some claims companies taking a bite out of a perfectly decent apple and then, tossing it in the bin. So I hope that most claims companies don't have that approach, but there's certainly that danger there, and I think that does happen to a point. I'm reassured by some claims companies that I use who are asking questions about this and are coming to me and introducing cases or asking or paying for some advice in their cases because they've got question marks over whether they're getting the full compensation or whether indeed that the lenders are often settling a little bit too easily, admitting that the PPI was sold a little bit too readily when, in fact, they're probably they may be feeling as a lender lucky to get away with such small payouts, and perhaps they're even sort of training the claims industry out there to take a certain figure for certain types of claims. You'll have to look at it's a very interesting area that you'll have to look at another video posting that I've done in the Bunker series for more on that, getting full compensation. Very important issue in those higher value and more complex claims. So that's the claims companies. As far as the banks doing it yourself is concerned, well, the banks obviously aren't going to charge you unless it's £10 because you have to request your documents under the Data Protection Act and the Consumer Credit Act 1974, Section 77 and 78. And there's a fee when you go to any organisation and you ask for the data that they hold on you under the Data Protection Act. So there's a small fee there. As far as I know, there's no fee to put in to appeal a decision to a FOS adjudicator if you don't like what the bank's told you. They will charge the lender, it's an interesting point, £500 for adjudicating a claim, which is often the point at which a bank will fold. Now, if you do it yourself and you have to go all the way to the courts because it's for whatever reason, intransigent lender, high value claim, complexity, whatever reason, that's going to cost you a couple of £100 approximately to issue a claim in the courts. It's slightly less if it's a small claim. So that's what it will cost you if you go to the courts. But of course the big question is what will it cost you if you go to a lawyer? Big question as far as I'm concerned. And well, fortunately we still have a no-win, no-fee regime in place. Fortunately for this sector, don't much like the way it's been used and abused in the PI sector, but in this sector we have that, which means that you can instruct me as a solicitor or any other solicitor out there to handle your claim for free. They will only they won't charge you. They if they lose, they lose. If they win, the law allows them to uplift their hourly rates for the risks involved for them of losing the case. That means that if the bank loses, the bank pays the lawyer's hourly rate plus this uplift. It can be up to 100% of their basic hourly rate to reflect the risks that they're taking on in representing your case. Of course, I nevertheless like, this is a personal decision that I make, to charge my clients around about a couple of £100, depending on their circumstances, but around about a couple of £100, depending upon the case too, as payment on account. And I think that's because I'm a little bit old-fashioned, and I don't like it being absolutely no win, no fee, and I don't like the idea of clients feeling as if they can just kind of, that there's someone out there who will take their problems away for them. And I think it's important to be accountable, and I just want the commitment of a client who's prepared to open their checkbook, write out a check and send it to the law firm. It demonstrates commitment to the cause. And in lots of these cases, if you are going to go the whole distance all the way to court, as lawyers, we need to know that we've got strong clients, credible clients. So that's why I charge an upfront fee. And I also do have costs as well, disbursements, court fees, and some barristers that I instruct will charge. So, but on the whole, it's unlikely to cost you more than, let's say, if you instruct a lawyer, £250. That goes for most, if not all, of lawyers practicing in the sector out there. Then your case should be insured in most, if not all, in the case of all, if not most, if not all claims, sorry. And a solicitor will arrange insurance for you so that in the event that you lose the case, you're not liable for the other side's costs, because no win, no fees is strictly speaking just it just waives your own solicitor's fees. But what if you lose? The principle of civil litigation is that the other side, the losing side, pays the winner's costs. So that's why the insurance regime is in place to protect you, so that and there's very rarely a cost for that insurance. Sometimes there's a £100 admin fee or something of that nature, but usually there's no cost for it, and the premium of that insurance, kind of bizarre that we're in the same game as the banks in terms of insurance. It makes me slightly uncomfortable, but you couldn't run these cases without insurance. Anyway, the insurance is also, the premium for the insurance is also paid by the other side if they lose. I hope that's illuminated the area of costs. Big difference. If you go to a claims company, they will actually, I'll talk about the benefits of a claims company and a solicitor's firm on another posting, but they will charge you a percentage of your compensation, whereas lawyers aim to get your compensation back to you in full, and they get paid by the losing side, i.e. the bank, when you win your claim.